Can I log out and log in to see if we can match the voice and audio? Okay, let me try that. Well, let me try something. How is it now? All right, okay, now it's good. Is it good? Alright, so we go in 1 minute 30 seconds. Someone still complaining of latency? Okay, everything is okay, good. Right, I begin by praising God and ask Him to send His blessings to all His prophets and messengers who have come and lived, to righteous men and women who have lived, to the parents of Southern Cameroonians, to our forefathers, to those of us who have fallen in the line of duty, to our suffering people in the bushes, to our suffering people in refugee camps, to our people languishing in the jails of La République du Cameroon for doing nothing except being who they are. May God's blessings be on you. May His love, peace, and rich blessings come upon you and your family in this particular year, 2021 and on. 2021 has come. 2006 is gone. 2016 is gone. 2017 is gone. 2018 gone. 2019 gone. 2020 gone. Here is 2021. Akum Julius is not here. Mami Api is not here. Baby Mata is not here. Clement is not here. Honorable Wiba is in exile, and many others. Sisiku and Cabinet are languishing in the jail, unjustly extradited from a country that has no extradition treaty with this particular country that abducted them. They are still there. The killings continue. Over 15,000. Over 1 million are displaced from their homes, from their abode. Sufferings with meager salaries or none in jobs across the Mongo. More than 1,500 still in jails. Over 150,000 in refugee camps. Hundreds of thousands missing, hundreds of thousands missing, unaccounted for. Southern Cameroonians are in grave agony. This is the reality. This is what we bring into 2021. This is the truth. My name is Abdul Karim Ali, a Southern Cameroonian, born in Bui County, raised in Mezam at the heart city of Bamenda, had my secondary education in a Protestant college, a Christian college, Presbyterian college particularly, Cameroon Protestant College. Did my university studies in India, did my professional studies part in India, part in South Africa, and part in Nigeria, and have learned over the years from my people, from Southern Cameroonians, taught by the very best of minds Southern Cameroons could afford. That is who I am, today referred to as a scholar of the Bible, though being a Muslim. And I consider myself a student of the scripture. Someone who has been through torture, who didn't eat for 15 days in pursuit for justice. And so this is what brings me to the declaration I'm going to be making. We all as human beings have what make us human beings. Number one, we are created by God, and we are raised in a particular manner, educated in a particular manner, develop specific interests that bring to us different experiences. Some of us have a formal education, some have informal education, some are privileged to have both, and this is what makes a human being. What I've explained, part of what I've explained before now, is what makes me who I am. My education, whence I came, my experiences. Basically, that's who I am. I am nothing besides this. That's all I can be. What God has made and what I've learned. I want to thank the people of Southern Cameroons for their colossal courage and commitment to see that justice is served. Many people may not understand why it is important to stand and die for justice. I'm going to try and explain primitively from my own cosmology in this very short video why I think if there is anything worth dying for beside pursuit of God is justice, and pursuing justice is a part of worship for those who believe in God. Even for those who don't believe in God, even for the agnostics, and the atheists, justice is a fundamental principle of their liberal world, of their free world, of their concept of liberalism, fathered by John Locke. It stands with justice. That is what gives birth to human right. The attempt, the struggle to try and meet minimum social justice. So it's a responsibility for humanity to try and be just, irrespective of their religious background or non-religious background. This is what I think. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank Southern Cameroonians, both here and abroad. And I'm going to be very clear, without any disrespect. When I say Southern Cameroonians, I don't mean those who refer to themselves as Anglophones. Anglophones are the only reason my people are being killed and are suffering. If they stood by truth, truth can be very distasteful. It's like taking medication. Nobody likes taking pills. But when you have body pains, they'll give you medications called painkillers. It doesn't taste well in the mouth, but that is the remedy to the problems that you have. If these Anglophones stood by truth, by Anglophones, I mean traitors and enablers, those who constitute themselves into this fallacy and illusion. What really is an illusion is what they call federation. I hold them responsible. I might be wrong, and I'm yet to be provided an argument that is strong enough to change my view, that they are responsible. They are the primary enablers to the genocide ongoing on their people by denying truth. So when I speak of Southern Cameroonians, I want to draw that distinction very clearly. That I really do appreciate from the bottom of my heart the colossal courage and commitment of these people here on ground and in the diaspora. May God bless you, because some of you had other options, like we've seen people who have abandoned truth for betrayal. So those who are still here today, may God bless you. May God reward you here on this earth and in the hereafter. May God protect you from any evil that is plotted against you. Because when you stand for truth for your family, you are definitely standing for truth for your neighbor. If your neighbor's house is on fire, highly likely your house would be on fire. If your house is on fire, highly likely your neighbor's house would be on fire. So I want to thank you for that. Why did I join the struggle? Simple answer: because I, as an individual, had no options. When Akum Julius was killed, when Fontaine Bala and co were jailed in December 2016 and January 2017 respectively, I had no options. I still have no options. I cannot settle for less than justice. This is why I joined the struggle. Like many of us, I too had a better life and could still have a better life if I wanted to. In another country, in this country, in La Republique, if I wanted to, I would have had. But that is not an option. I have one option, which is settling for nothing less than justice. The second question: why can't I give up? Not giving is because the opposite of freedom is bondage. The opposite of freedom is slavery. The opposite of freedom is colonization. So I cannot give up and I cannot give in, because if I give up or I give in, I am giving up freedom for slavery. I am giving in to bondage. Only a mad person, only a corrupt person, only an evil person will give up freedom for bondage or give in to slavery for freedom. I am not such. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to God. I am not mad. I am not evil. I'm in full control of my faculty. You know, they say a man can survive without food for 4 weeks. They also say a man can survive without water for 4 days. And they also say a man can survive without air for 4 minutes. But today I'm telling you, my countrymen and good people of the world, that a man cannot survive for a second without hope. The people of Southern Cameroons in their entirety, with their blessed leadership, gave me hope when they stood for justice. I've held on to this hope. I'm holding on to hope because I know that should I lose hope, a man without air, without food, without water would survive many more minutes, hours, days altogether than myself that have all of those other things without hope. The only reason you are watching me now, the only reason you will be doing your chores of tomorrow, the only reason you are in 2020 is because you had hope on the 31st of December 2020. If you lost hope, there is no reason to live. You will die as soon as you lose hope. I was given hope by the resilient people of Southern Cameroons. I'm proud to be alive, given the privilege to interact with this hope, and I'm ready to hold this hope, not only pass it, not only bequeath it to my children and my children's children, to my neighbor's children, to my friends' children, to my neighboring county's children, to my neighboring local government area children. But I'm not only ready to do that, I'm ready to refine the hope, protect the hope, seal the hope before giving them, so that they too can have a better hope, fix it better than I could do, and hand over to their own children. This is the essence of life. This is why we have children. This is why we exist. And should anyone dare to take that from us, the person is telling us to die immediately. And if we refuse to die, then we cannot lose hope. We cannot lose hope. Quote, everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek to receive and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. End quote. United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is what the United Nations declares as a universal human right. The freedom to speak truth or whatever information you have, pass it over to other people through whatever media without interference. That is a fundamental declaration of universal human right. But Southern Cameroonians have been denied even a right as basic as this. What we have in this part of the world, dear good people of the world, is the privilege of speech. Some people have the freedom to speak, say anything, refer to us as rat and dogs, as sugar in water, as Biafrans. That is called freedom of speech. When we refute them intellectually, academically, which is the most civil thing to do, it is referred to as hate speech. This is our reality. This is what we are going through. This perhaps message should reach to the table of people like Arikana and Professor Lumumba, Dr. Arikana and Professor Lumumba. The speeches they keep giving on Facebook and other media is good, but they need to take action. They need to realize that it is not just about human resources that is being siphoned, digged, and ferried by France and other colonial powers. No. We even don't have the right to speak. It is as bad as that. That there is only something like the privilege of speech and not the freedom of speech, particularly when it concerns a people who refer to themselves as Southern Cameroonians. So let me unpack the answers I gave to my questions. Why I joined the struggle. I'll try and unpack it in a bit. Number one, when I say I had no options, this is because I am a believer in God and in humanity. I believe that humanity is a creation. Today, I actually know that humanity was created. And the only thing that can create a dependent existence, basically there are two kinds of existence. One is a dependent existence and the other one is a necessary one. A dependent existence, for example, this my shirt, this my sweater. My sweater is a dependent existence because it depended on color, orange color. It depended on cotton. It depended on the designer to choose whether it be a V-neck or a round neck. Now we have the necessary existence. The necessary existence does not depend on anything. That one is called God. I believe that for this creation, this humanity to exist, it needed a necessary existence. Something which is uncreated to create it. So I believe in God and I believe in humanity. In Islam, God has told us that the most thing to be jealous of and held with all humor and respect is a human life. Allah says in the Quran in chapter 5 verse number 32 that if you killed a single human being, a single innocent human being, it's as though you have slain the entire humanity. And should you save a single innocent human being, it's as though you have saved the entire humanity. This is the ruling in Islam. The second reason, I am a Muslim who tries my best. Who tries his best to follow the Quran best he can and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which are called today the Sunnah, or which is called the Sunnah. I try my best to pursue those. I take the Quran and the Hadith seriously. I understand that this life is but a test that I am going to pass on one day. I understand the true meaning of peace, which is not the absence of war, but the presence of justice. Not the absence of temper and anger, but the presence of truth. That is the definition of peace. I also want to bequeath lasting peace to my children, my neighbor's children, and to my country and the world over. I want to deliver whatever it is God has given me in a much better manner to the people that come after me. The people that come after me, for crying out loud, are not my children and my wife and brothers. They are my brothers, most essentially my neighbors, my friends, neighboring states, neighboring countries. That is what is most important. You cannot claim to have peace when your neighbor doesn't have peace. Even if your neighbor did not have peace as a result of their own fault, if you don't try and help them resolve their dilemma, it would crop into your own home. This is my understanding. This is why I think the only reason I exist today is to worship God by bequeathing something better to my children and their children's children. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom, dear Southern Cameroonians, must undergo the fatigue of supporting it. Liberation struggles are very tiring and sometimes very long trips. If you did not even know why you joined, you will fall on the way. The honorable thing to do when you fall on the way is not to blame it on people. Pick up from where you fell. Redefine your terms. Perhaps you joined the struggle in a bad manner, with bad interior motives. Perhaps you joined the struggle and entered yourself in wrongdoings. Perhaps you entered the struggle and instead of being a listener, you decided to be a talker. Perhaps you joined the struggle. Instead of being a provider, you decided to be a taker. Perhaps you joined the struggle. Instead of being a debater, you decided to be a physical fighter. So simply reevaluate yourself. Pray to God. Ask God to define for you where you belong. After knowing where you belong, get up, rush and join the trip. Betrayal is devastating. The worst thing to do is betrayal. Listen, you can betray and kill all of us, 8 million. You won't live a single day to enjoy that betrayal. If you doubt me, ask Nambere the kind of nightmares he has. Ask Yannick Sikot. Ask Nicolas Santos. Please ask them and tell them to fear God and tell you the truth. Judas Iscariot, he found no problem when he took his 30 shekels of silver. Everything was still okay. He found no problem. But soon as his master Jesus Christ was delivered unto persecution and crucifixion according to the Bible, then he realized he has made a big mistake. Nobody needed to tell him. Nobody had to remind him. At that point, at that juncture, when you want to betray your people, You are being praised into thinking that you're a hero by the enemy. At the moment you're doing it, whatever reasons, it be your greed, your longer throat, or your search for fame, whatever reasons, or your anger and your hate is luring you into doing that, those reasons overcloud your judgment. But soon as you do it, and it works for you, then the divine retribution comes. Then the natural providence emerges in your own being. So it's a long journey. Some people will fall and do not expect to take everyone along. Those who fall and stretch their hands for you to pick them up, lift them up, and meet the others, please do. But those who fall, and by definition of their downfall is to admit that they have fallen and try to pull you down, please let them be there. You move on. So basically, this is why I joined the struggle. It is as simple as that. And I like to tell you, this is not something I like doing, but perhaps it's reasonable that one shares some of these things. I was a Microsoft certified system engineer as early as 2003. I was the first to return, at least that I know, to Bamenda. My certification then was being signed by Bill Gates himself. For those who are certified by Microsoft would know when he was still president and was still signing those certifications. I was not given a job, and to be honest with you, I was super in IT. I could manage the Active Directory of Microsoft Windows environment without looking at my keyboard. I could network a computer using routers and a computer system using routers and hubs, what even their government could not do at that time. But because my CV was in English, because I was from Bamenda, and I am from Bamenda, I wasn't given the opportunity to show at least even what I studied in primary school, if I understood it or not, in this country. My first job was not given me by the Cameroons, neither of them. God provided elsewhere. But even before that, if I peel back history, when Francophones used to come to CPC Bali, being children of ministers and military officials and so on, they looked down on us right in CPC. I had all of these questions, I had all of this anger in me, until Honorable Weaver poured the pressure pipe in the La Republique Parliament in December 2016, reawakening me. And when I followed the early stage of this escalation phase of our struggle, I now did a recap of all the things I'm trying to tell you now. And I understood specifically why. I now can explain to myself why it has been like this. Francophones would call me Biafrans. I didn't understand. I thought it's simply because I look like Nigerian, or by virtue of me speaking pidgin, they confused me and our Nigerian brethren. That is what I thought. Until again I come to understand that that is actually what they are being taught. That we are actually Nigerians who came in like thieves in the night into their land. All of these things came to light in the best way possible. That aside, I used to look at the poor roads, the highly centralization of power. Making a passport is an ordeal. Making an ID is an ordeal. Starting up a business is a nightmare. Communicating even within your own territory is a nightmare. Pauperization, the fact that I grew up in Bamenda and all my life in Bamenda, the big rich names remain the same till this day. No room for emergence. And what are the big names, new big names? Bamileke people. The balkanization, the brutal civil law, where old women, men, and children are simply being accused and they are locked up brutally for doing nothing. The arrogance that we get when you are forced to travel to Yaoundé to pursue your own documents, the arrogance that you get in the administrative offices, the insults, and then came the height of it, the climax, the infiltration of our educational system, the judicial corrosion, maiming, killings. When I evaluated all of this, then it came to light. I was still looking at the symptoms. Notice, I'm still looking at the symptoms, not the real issue. But you can imagine what can make a person radicalized more than these symptoms. Already, one who is weak at heart can already get very extreme with every intent they have with these symptoms. Then you can imagine when you get to start digging the parasite itself, the real issue. When you get to understand why all of these symptoms are here, are present, are being capitalized upon, are on the increase, and are done with a condescending manner, without any regret, without any remorse. So after I fully comprehended the root cause or the root causes of this dilemma, my commitment and my resolve can only be fortified. Listen, I think it is better to die fighting for freedom than to be a prisoner all our lives. It's better to quit this God-forsaken earth as a free man than to live any life as a beggar and a prisoner in your own home. What would you do with this life? So now I want to talk about something else, and then I'll be wrapping up this my session with why we cannot give in. Neither should we be thinking of giving up. I give the answers, but I'm going to be unpacking that. Or let's do it this way. I think let me address that before I talk about what has to follow. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, I need to know that you can hear me so we can continue. All right, okay. Oh yeah, so okay, so I was thinking, should we address one before the other? Yeah, yeah, I think we should close with that. So let me address something. La République du Cameroon has been advised, including till the 1st of January 2021, we have a resolution 684, coming from the United States Senate, advising La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroonians to cease all forms of violence and approach a dialogue and negotiation, an all-inclusive one without any preconditions. They have said this times without number. Southern Cameroonians have yielded to that call. I want to remind La République du Cameroon. I know your experts know this. Or perhaps there is a selective ignorance going on. When you see a country like the United States of America insisting, it's because the United States of America has fought a lot of wars. They have tasted the bitterness of war. War is not a good thing. That which you declared on us on the 30th of November 2017 is not a good thing. I'm sure that you know by now. But let me give you some statistics. With the grand scheme of the United States of America, their grand scheme of a concept known as the War on Terror. This is practically what La République thinks, what you think La République you're doing. By the way, who is a terrorist? So when the weak people defend themselves, they are called terrorists. And when the strong attack and violate human rights, it is called war. So let's fine. You're free to call whoever you choose to by any name you choose. That is your own definition. The war on terror. What does war really help for? War has never stopped, quote unquote, any terrorism. Let me take a critical example of the United States and the war against the Taliban of Afghanistan. This came after 9/11. The United States invaded Afghanistan in 2003 with the grand plan of going to wipe out, quote unquote, terrorism. They went into that place with fire, blazing warships and manpower. From 2003 to 2014, the United States had spent 4,800 trillion investing in war. Now, that is by the way, but what is worthy of note is that country called Afghanistan before 2003 has no record of suicide bombing. From the year 2003 to 2014, they had recorded 1,848 suicide bombing cases, killing over 20,000 innocent persons. This is what the so-called war on terror brings. What has happened? Has the world become more secure? Has the United States become a secure place? Has the West become a secure place from 9/11? No. Extremism have increased. Now, you can know about a country called Pakistan because Pakistan shares a border with Afghanistan. It was also believed that Taliban were hiding in Pakistan. So troops were also sent into Pakistan. Pakistan had never known any suicide bombing case as well. From 2003 to 2018, they have registered over 500 cases of suicide bombing, killing over 8,000 innocent people. It is the same for Yemen. It is the same for Syria. It is the same for Libya. It is the same even for our neighbors, Nigeria. All as an offshoot of Taliban. It is the same for Kenya, the Al-Shabaab, the Boko Haram. All of these things are offshoots of extremism as a result of this so-called war of terror. Southern Cameroons, my Bamenda specifically, has been the most peaceful and secure environment. A place where you can walk with your money in your hands and nobody cares to attack you. And even when you dropped it on the floor, people will rush to tell you you've dropped your money. Today we hear of beheadings. Stray bullets killing people. What has your war on Southern Cameroon caused? Has it caused some peace? Peace cannot be forced. You have radicalized more Southern Cameroonians. You are radicalizing more Southern Cameroonians. You are aggravating more Southern Cameroonians, and today I can tell you that many more Southern Cameroonians are extremists, not only because of the pain and anger, but because of your declaration and execution of a senseless war to a people, on a people who freely joined you, who independently, supervised by the United Nations, took a plebiscite to try and relate with you. But in April, when the world was voting for this plebiscite to make sense by way of giving Southern Cameroons her independence, with the next article stipulating a form of federation with you, you voted against that resolution 1608, La République du Cameroon. You voted against it. You did not even want it. Federalist, listen, I know you know, but the article that favored your federation was in resolution 1608 that your masters voted against. Today you turn around and you kill such people. You brutalize such people. You jail such people. Now, what I've presented can seem picayune to you. It can seem trite to you. It is a small matter. Okay, it's an interesting argument, but it's small. I want to present to you the serious problem. I'm presenting the serious problem to the international community and to La République du Cameroon as a Southern Cameroonian. Let me present the serious problem. All what I've been saying is a child's play. Now, this is a serious problem. I joined the struggle out of conviction and desperation and some anger. Many more. I'm sure all Southern Cameroonians also joined for that reasons. But you have 1,500 of our people in your jails, like Republic du Cameroon, and the world you're watching. You also have people in exile who are growing and studying. You also have people in refugee camps who are growing and are studying. You have people experiencing whatever they are experiencing here. These people in jails and those that are dying, who knows, myself tomorrow or after, and those that are in exile, they have children. Some have died and their children are in Europe and America. Those in the refugee camps, their parents, some of them are stabilizing in Nigeria and they will go to school. Those who are dying in the chains, in the prisons, they have family, they have nephews, they have relations. So we are talking about 8 million Southern Cameroonians today, but indeed, if you multiply the growth rate by 2%, we could be talking about 16 million with the infants that are growing. Today, when I read what happened between Endele and Muna, Foncha and Muna, and La République du Cameroon, I get aggravated, I get angry. When I read what happened to Fontembala, well, now I don't regret that they're nonsense because they are traitors. But when I look at what is happening to Sisiku, Patasang, Pafongala, all of them, Mancho BBC and co, I get aggravated. Dear citizens of the world, like Republic of Cameroon, the United Nations, AU, OAU, European Union, our children are not going to be aggravated. They are going to be desperately angry. We are angry today because we think our parents were cheated. Our children will be angry because their parents were killed. Their brothers were tortured. Their sisters were raped. Their mothers were raped and were jailed. They are going to be 1,000 times bitter. They will not be interested in taking a country. They will not be interested in restoring an independence. They will be desperately in need to destroy. I say this to you with an open heart. Look, you had Europeans and Americans traveling to go and fight in Syria. One may ask, what is their business in Syria? These are the children of people who have suffered from the hands of the West by their own context. I'm not making any judgment on this case. They have studied nuclear physics. They have studied biochemistry. They are in the free world. They have a passport that permits them to travel. They can handle weapons. And they are angry that someone killed their parents 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And they go back to join ISIL and ISIS to fight. Not because they have the same purpose as ISIS and ISIL. They are not interested in instituting any Islamic state. They are there for revenge. Dear people of the world, La République du Cameroon, why I cannot give up and I cannot give in, one of the reasons is because I am trying to avoid a catastrophe, a disaster in the future. Truth and justice should come and come now to avoid what will come in the future. The truth, if this thing is not resolved today, this is why I'm enjoining the world again to stop making arguments in silence and commit to bringing La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroons on an internationally mediated negotiation table to resolve this issue. If you would love to see the Cameroons in future. As you know, more than 2 million Southern Cameroonians are in the diaspora. They have children. They will read this history. Many people who are dead, like I said, have families and children and nephews. They will read this history. They will not be interested in 1960 and 1961. They will not be interested in plebiscite question. They will not be interested in all of those things because they will not even want to come and sojourn in Africa. They want to know who killed their parents, who tortured their parents, who raped who. They want to know. And as soon as they have an answer to that, they would respond. The world must learn to avoid war. The world must learn to deny war. And the only way to do that is to do our best as humans. We cannot be 1000% or 100% just, but we can attain minimum social justice. I'm calling on the international community to force these two parties, but Southern Cameroons is already willing and sitting on the negotiation table to therefore bring La République du Cameroon to negotiate. All of these things that we see happening today, this belly politics, these politics to drive jeeps, to own offices that mean nothing, this politics that is there to pretend that there is normalcy in the Southern Cameroons will not last for 24 hours. It will collapse before you know it. And this problem would still be standing and sitting, watching for the day justice will come unto it. Dear people of the world, the children of the people in the jail, the children of the people who are dead in Southern Cameroons, for this truth, the people of these women being raped, the children of those in exile, I'm telling you the truth. In 20 years, in 30 years, in 15 years, they will burn all candles for revenge. They will burn every grass in search for who murdered who. That can be avoided now. By standing by truth, talking about justice, resolving the Southern Cameroon versus La République du Cameroon problem today, we shall, inshallah, God willing, avoid a catastrophe of tomorrow. I cannot give up and I cannot give in because I am fighting alongside my comrades, not for myself. As young as I may look, I'm not very young, but as young as I may look, I am not fighting to liberate myself and my people for my own self. I will not even have the time to enjoy when we are free. I will be folding my sleeves to work some more if God brings me alive, because a lot of work would be required of our hands and fingers and brains. I'm fighting for my children, for your children, for my neighbor's children, for the villager who cannot afford anything's children. That is why I am fighting. That is why I cannot accept any bribe and corruption. That is why I am here, risking my life before enemy's line, to ensure that our children and my neighbor's children and the children in every corner of southern Cameroons do not grow up to ask for food, do not grow up to ask for medical care, do not grow up to ask for education, do not grow up to ask on roads, do not grow up to ask for potable water. That shouldn't be the problem of a southern Cameroonian. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned earlier, if I don't do that and I think I have a good mannerism, I can protect my child, protect my family, the other children will be in drugs and they will contaminate your own child. This is why I cannot give up or give in. This is a good fight to ensure that our children's basic necessities are answered by our hands and effort. This is why we live. If not, why should you put to bed? Why should you bring a child to go through this mess? This is why we cannot give up and we cannot give in. This is why we call people enablers and traitors. It is on the blood of people that you will become famous, hold offices, to enjoy with your family and a couple of girlfriends. We don't want that. We want a case where if God blesses you to be rich, your riches and your wealth has nothing to do with that woman staying miles away from you, because she will have her basic needs provided by a people that lived by them, before them and by them. This is why we are fighting. That is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why we cannot give up and we cannot give in. What I've provided just now is the bigger problem. Like I said, what I provided earlier on about who the symptoms of the problem and all of that, all of those things are picayune. The big problem is what I fear for the future. The children of us living today. May God forgive us if we don't solve this problem today. Our children, when they will rise up, when they will come back from wherever they are to meet their brothers who would grow up here, because nobody can kill all of us, some would survive. They will not be seeking for the same thing you're seeking. They will not be seeking to restore any independence. They would be for revenge. And revenge is not good. Because when you seek for revenge, you need to dig 2 graves. We don't want that for our children. This is why we will not give up and we will not give in. I'd like you to write, we cannot give up and we won't give in. Write that. We cannot give up and we won't give in. This is my perspective, ladies and gentlemen. I know most of you may have different views to this, but this is what I have sat and thought about. This is how I see the prevalence and the danger that lies ahead. My last word, which goes again to the international community. As a result of the root causes, which you know very well, dear international community, which are 1. The non-decolonization of southern Cameroons. 2. La République du Cameroon's claim over the territory of southern Cameroons. And 3. La République's military brutality on the people of southern Cameroons. These 3 root causes of the bloody war that we find ourselves in today have caused over 15,000 deaths, 107 life sentences without proper trial. Many girls are being raped and are displaced. Children are sleeping in the bushes and in refugee camps. We are unsafe. Our brothers and sisters are all in exile. I am calling on you to realize this. Failing to resolve this issue now is waiting to have a catastrophe tomorrow. We want to thank you again once more, we the people of Southern Cameroons. We are thanking you, all diplomats representing different countries and organizations. We are thanking you for the humanitarian support, for the advice that we've derived from you, from your calls to cease fire, to dialogue. We thank you immensely, and we are happy that you're present to talk to us in this very dire moment. But we are again saying that you've made a lot of calls in silence. It is time to stop the war. You have the capacity to do that. You've actually sworn oaths on the United Nations, organizations like the United Nations, to intervene in times like this. Come to the rescue of the people of French Cameroon, because you're not coming to rescue us. Come to the rescue of La République du Cameroon. Bring them on a table. The table has been set and we are waiting. Bring them to the table. Let the conversation start. Let the guns stop. Let conversations proceed. Let hostilities stop. Let negotiation start. Let respect begin. Let's have the debate and come out with the solution, because there is the only place this problem is going to be solved. You know it, so do it. Why I joined the struggle? Because I have no option. Why can I not give up? Neither will I give in. Is because I fear for what will happen tomorrow when our children grow up to know that we were killed because we seek for justice. With this, ladies and gentlemen, once more, my name is Abdul Karim. Wa akhru dawana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Thank you for your kind attention. May the good God, the creator of the heaven and earth, give you grace, blessings, and the best reward you deserve within the past years, and especially this year. And for Southern Cameroonians, may God wash your tongues, clean them, guard them, especially as you start this new year. Do not bring in, look at yourself and ask yourself the questions. All your actions and inactions, have they taken us closer to our goal? If they are not, it's about time you changed. Please, leadership must denounce negative surrogacy. And again, I said this and was bashed at and met with backlash. But this is the truth. We must have to collaborate. We have to agree and do certain things together. Not necessarily uniting, but we have to collaborate so that we can stop this suffering that our people are going through and get our people released from the dungeons of La République du Cameroon and start a life anew. Please, we cannot know everything. We have to rely on experts and our brothers. We cannot know everything. We can only know as much as God avails to us. So I want to thank God once more for what He has made possible for us from 2016 to 2020. And sometimes most of the things we find negative, in His infinite knowledge, they are good answers. So dear Southern Cameroonians, thank God for your dirty dishes. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and you realize what kind of favor the God has pushed towards you. And don't despair when the light seems bloom. Don't despair when falsehood seems to triumph. Falsehood can never triumph. You're on the path of justice. Stick to truth. Act with reason. Let your guide be God. Let your actions be backed by good reason. Talk to your brothers more. Don't talk about them. Quit the gossip. Quit the insults. And of course, God loves cheerful givers. Give unto your struggle. You have a lot of people suffering in the bushes, in the jails, and so on and so forth. And ask yourself why you should spend your money. And ask yourself, if not for causes like this, where else should you spend your money? This said, I would like to take a few questions, and please be civil in asking your questions. Let's stick to the subject in asking the questions, and I will try and attempt some of the questions best I can. Thank you very much. Okay. Um, okay, I'll be waiting to see if you have some questions. Thank you for staying on these very long speeches. Sometimes it is boring listening to people like that for too long. Yeah. All right. Okay. Patricia is saying that with gratitude for all you do for our people, Malam, we are together unto freedom. Yes, we stand together unto freedom. Thank you. All right. Have Prosper Fadarha. Thank you, Abdul Karim. Eno Benjamin. Thank you for the love. Christopher Tangpa. Bisong Bisong. Thank you, and God bless and protect you. God bless you too, and may God bless your family, especially for those of you in the West. May God protect you from this pandemic and protect you from all other diseases. Prosper, Father. My question is, what can we do to foster collaboration? Number one, denounce surrogacy, keep positive, and let reason guide you in support of every leadership. Don't be partisan. That is one thing. And then there are many fora where people are doing some groundwork to bring our leaders to talk and get to reduce the suffering of our people. Jesse Mackley, wow, it ended. Yeah, I came late. Yes, sorry, ma'am. You just have to, after we finish and save it, I'm sure you can watch it all over. Thank you. Do you think independent will come through? Yes, of course, we are independent. It's a matter of restoring it. There's no shame about it. Don't be shy to say it. I mean, look, 18 years today, 18-year-old children today, pretty much, especially in the West, they want their independent. They want to be free. Who on earth would not want to be free, if not the devil? Wilson Nijinjo, Happy New Year. Ji Chingo, Happy New Year to you too. Promise Son, I don't know what link is that you send on YouTube. Atali Dixon, send WhatsApp number please. I didn't know about that. Just send me an inbox on Messenger. I'll get to know why you want my WhatsApp number, and then we can take it from there. Live and be. Good evening, sir. Good evening to you too. Eze Obina, where is your mask? I don't know. I'm in Southern Cameroons and I'm at home. I don't require a mask. Okay. Chris Dominion Oya Kilome, happy prosperous New Year. Best for you. Best wishes for you and your family, sir. Gratitude to you, my mentor. It is my honor and pleasure. Mr. Ali, what do you think about the so-called Chan and what it has to do with our struggle? I think there's the Nations Cup. My brother, I'm not concerned with anything else for now except worshiping God and trying to liberate my people. So, and it's very stupid for countries, if they have knowledge that there is war in a place, and they take the risks to go in there in a bid to do soccer competition. Well, that is their prerogative. It's not my concern. I'm here. My people are dying. I'm concerned with that. All right. Okay. So Christian Fokame, amen. Knight Brito, any advice to the chairpersons? Oh, yeah, my advice to them is that they should put Southern Cameroons first, and let ego be shut down. Let them all denounce negative surrogacy, and let them realize that they are not fighting for themselves but for their children and their children's children. John Ebert, thanks very much, sir. It was really awesome. Please, I wish to ask if you have ever called Mark Barata, Eric Tato, Sakwe Kome, or if of those active forefront guys in the struggle. Yeah, oh yeah, yes, except for Comrade Eric, um, yes, I talk with Mark quite often. Dr. Sako as well. We do converse. Sometimes you know, especially regarding the humanitarian dilemma here on the ground. Sure, there's conversation going on, except for Comrade Eric. He's been very busy, so we hope that God creates time for him to talk to some of us. Yeah, but this doesn't mean we've not talked before. We've spoken, but he's been very busy lately. Okay. Uh, Christopher Abeti again. I'm watching from South Africa. Thank you. We believe in God. Inshallah, I believe in God. Yeah. And Dikum Celestine, my regards to you and family. Stay stronger. Best wishes for you too, and my love to your own family. Fai Jibril. Okay. May Allah continue to guide you, and we continue to have hope. Absolutely. Hope is one thing we cannot lose. If you followed my presentation. Boris, any attempt to talk to all the surrogates on social media like Eric, Prince, Mark, Tapang? Oh yeah, may God make them realize that we can only be what we can be. We cannot be something else, and that may we put a country first, people first, and then whatever God has for us, nobody can take it. I cannot do your job, you cannot do mine. I can only do my job. So yes, and may God guide us all. We all are short of His glory, and we lack the necessary wisdom. We pray for God to supplement our ignorance with wisdom and to give us the knowledge to interact with one another and consider what lies ahead of us than what is before us right now. So let's think outside the box and of course put our people first. That's what I can say to that. Alex Fotabang, Happy New Year, sir. Happy New Year to you. Okay, okay, John, say thanks for your answer. Okay, Boris, thanks so much. Okay, Happy New Year. Okay, Atali, Happy New Year. You are the Buns Ground Zero. I applaud your tenacity and courage. How can collaborate with some frontline leaders whose agenda is to take us to life public? Yeah, no, if you're sure there's a frontline leader whose agenda, if you're sure and you have clear proofs that there's a frontline leader whose agenda is to take you to the enemy, definitely you cannot collaborate with such. But we have to be sure, and these things require evidence, not just accusations and assertions. Yeah, Franco Law, what do you think about the recent U.S. Senate resolution? Oh yeah, I think I mentioned about it in the struggle. The resolution actually numbers resolution 684 by the Senate. Yeah, they have always, it has now become a resolution because our Congress has discussed it, and they think they should make an official position. But this is what they have been saying under the table and on top of the table, that hostility should stop while conversations begin. So, and we are hoping that they go beyond that paper resolution, that paper statement, to some concrete actions in a bid to bring the belligerents to the table. Salam Sheikh, please, why are your peoples divided, and do you think we can reach the finish line divided? Yes, that's a good question. Yeah, we can reach the line divided if God has ordained so, but that would take a lot more energy, perhaps more lives and a longer time. But if we are together, I think that would reduce the journey. It's important to stick together. A house which is divided against itself will not stand. That we don't need scripture to teach us that. So I think collaboration is very important, and the public fight must stop. It has caused a lot of damage and has ridiculed diplomacy and has dampened spirit, of course, frustrated effort. We hope also that changes this particular month in this year. Sheetala, happy and Professor New Year, comrade from the Scandi Palace. Scandi Palace. I don't. Okay, better one for you, sir. What impact, Keita? What impact do you think the resolution just passed by U.S. Senate will have on the benefits of Southern Cameroonians? Oh yeah, okay. The impact it will have on Southern Cameroonians. Yeah, we are happy that a strong was that a strong institution like the United States Congress via the Senate is making a rather clear statement unambiguous about the seizure of hostility and violence and atrocity crimes, and calling on both parties to engage in an all-inclusive dialogue. It's also important to note that the United States have been supporting the Swiss-led negotiation alongside other Western countries. So this is also an implicit statement reassuring that there is a process which is alive, and they know that Southern Cameroons, by and large, are on the table. So this is it's a call to La République du Cameroon again to take the chance while they can, and of course stop the hostilities, pull out their people, their military, release our people from the jail, and of course go on a table. And if they choose not to do those, they can as well just come to the table. Let's talk and move forward. So yes, it's a good impact because today we have a strong institution like the U.S. Senate coming out clearly to enforce calls that have come from diplomats to seizure of hostility, and of course and of course dialogue. So the impact it has is that we can see that there's light at the tunnel. We can be reassured that this issue is not going to end by using guns. That we're going to discuss, and we Southern Cameroonians are more than confident in our intellect, and we trust our academia in defense of our argument and our case. So that's what I think serves as a point, as a plus regarding the resolution. Have you equally talked to Dr. Cho Ayaba? His fighters are busy killing. Well, I am not involved with military engagements, but yes, of course, I've spoken with all the leaders. I've enjoined them to collaborate so that it would ease humanitarian support and stop the sufferings on the ground. And of course, it even makes more sense that dialogue starts when we are all speaking from a singular voice. Spiritual, thank you so much. Okay, amen. Happy New Year once more, Sheikh. What was your take on the reason in the so-called regional election? Regional election, that's a regional selection, and it doesn't concern me. That's one of the things I mentioned as the belly politics and the things that won't last. Anybody who has some sense know that it won't last. Even without Southern Cameroon struggle, these things won't last. We know that the MRC, Kamto's party, is boiling. You can see insurgencies, you can see symptoms, you can see indications from the far north that politics is shaky there. So those things are going to be problematic for the regime of La République du Cameroon, even without Southern Cameroon. So those are selections and have nothing to do. Our people would vote for others if they were given the chance to vote in a system that is fair. But now they have decided not to engage in such, but they will vote for others. Southern Cameroonians deserve better than what we see happening there, So, okay, Ivan, collaboration is good, and only people with good faith can collaborate. Stop forcing collaboration with people you don't have faith. I don't know if you're telling us or you're suggesting, but that is your opinion, and thank you for sharing that. Okay, Anglo Cameroon Bamenda. I don't know what is Anglo Cameroon Bamenda. It smells your social media name. Do you confirm the information that SG of Ferdinand Gongo supports Swiss talk, but PM John Gute does not want Swiss talk? Well, I don't know what you're talking. I don't know. So I don't know. So yeah, but yeah, there's rumor that La République du Cameroon is divided within itself regarding the talk. So, but I don't know. So, Dieta Keita, what's your take on the total silence of Britain? Well, Great Britain is embarrassed by the fact that they did not execute their duty efficiently um, as um, as a trustee, um, as a trustee of of the Southern Cameroons. So they are embarrassed by that, and they are not entirely silent. They are embarrassed and they are being careful, and they know that the facts and figures stand for the people of Southern Cameroons, and they also recognize that they were deliberate actions and inactions that is causing the war today. But for me, I wouldn't be embarrassed. I would brave up, admit where I erred, and fix it. So that's I think the dilemma uh, and the predicament that Great Britain finds herself in. But I suggest they can be great, but they can represent that name Great Britain by doing what is honorable, by saying that okay, yeah, there were these missteps and misgivings in our execution of Resolution 1608, 1514, 1335 of our total responsibility on the people of the British Southern Cameroons was flawed in this way, and we want to recognize this, and we stand for the human rights, and we are members of the United Nations, and we are members of Commonwealth. We want to stand and say that despite the mistake, we are unrepentantly and we are humbly stepping ahead to fix the problem by fixing the problem. This is what I'll do if I were Britain. The most honorable thing to do and to win confidence when you make mistake is to admit that you made a mistake. And when there is a rumor, is to come out and tell the truth without people necessarily asking you. This is what states should be doing. This is what leaders do, in my opinion. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm getting exhausted. Uh, it's 1 hour 30 minutes. Well, not so long we've stayed, but I'm getting exhausted. I'm by the way not feeling too well, so I cannot stay for long. But I'm sure we've handled most of your questions. I don't have all the answers, so what I've given is those are my thoughts, and please don't blame my errors and my short-sightedness on the 8 million people of Southern Cameroons. Those would be my personal deficiencies, and I'll try to improve in the future. Okay. All right. So please um, consider what I've said. Share to those you think could take a word from them. And do not forget, we cannot give up, we cannot give in. Not only because of the reasons we joined, but because of what we fear. Southern Cameroon's children would be devastating if this problem is not resolved today. They would pursue it in a different manner, very hostile. We don't want that, because war is not good. We have a very short time to spend in this life, and we deserve to live in peace. But peace would never exist when there is no justice. Peace can only come when there is justice. If you want your house to be in peace, be just to your wife, be just to yourself, be just to the children, and then you will be in peace. All right. Thank you very much. And someone is saying, Atali Dixon, answer us. What do you want me to answer, Atali Dixon? I'll just wait a second for you. Do you have a specific question you thought I skipped? Okay. I think I tried my best to go name by name, comment by comment. Atali seems to think I deliberately skipped something. Okay. All right. So Okay. Bye-bye. What happened to the Ayuk Sako talks? Yeah, Hans Norman. I mean, you know, even if I had the answer, this I will not come to Facebook to give you the answer to that, right? Yeah, Patricia, that will be no. Sorry, there will be no Palestinian conflict if brute force resolve problems. Absolutely. Natalie Dixon, I'm not. You should ask the leaders what would be the next if like Republic does not attend the Swiss talks. Okay. I mean, there are things we can share here. There are things you don't expect anyone to come discussing here.